I'm Ted.
Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew.
I'm Daniel.
I'm Grandpa. I'm Gavin.
I'm Joel.
I'm Matt.
And we're some of the Veggie Boys. And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. Welcome back, everyone. We're on our way back to the fields to start picking this morning. The first thing that we're gonna be picking is sweet corn. First thing is we have an order for a couple hundred ears, and we also need sweet corn back at the farm market. The first order that we needed was 300 ears. We've got that order picked. It was only 300 ears, so no big deal, and that's gonna go to the local supermarket. Now all we need to pull is sweet corn for ourselves back at the farm market.
Also put in there, check out our...
We had about 4 inches of rain over the past weekend, so a lot of this corn has plenty of moisture, and that really helps out when you're picking sweet corn because the sweet corn almost falls right off the stalk when the stalk has enough moisture. Picking sweet corn becomes difficult when it's really dry because the stalks shrivel up and they try and hold their moisture in, and when you're trying to pull the ears off, they don't want to come off. The only problem picking with a lot of moisture means you're gonna get wet, but at least it's easy to pick the corn. Test plot's looking good. I was driving home and I saw our sweet corn field here, so I wanted to stop for a moment. A question I got a while back that I thought was a really good question is how can we tell the differences between the sweet corn varieties without looking at the ears? The best way to do this is by looking at the color in the tassel. Now right now this variety is finishing up pollinating, and this variety over here is finishing up pollinating. Now you can see the tassels have a slight different color to them. This tassel over here has a reddish purple tint to it, and this has a light reddish, light purple tint. And this sweet corn is finishing up its pollination. You can see it doesn't have any of that pollen hanging down, but look at these sweet corn stalks. They are in full pollination. You can see all the pollen hanging there, and if I shake it, you can see how much pollen falls off onto my hand, and all of that is gonna fall down onto those ears, and it's gonna make really nice kernels. But that's one of the easiest ways to tell the difference between the varieties. For example, it's easy to see the color difference in the tassel looking at these two varieties. I just thought that was a good question, and I never really got around to answering it, so there you go. We went back to the farm market, and something that we really needed was beans, so we're gonna get started off picking flat beans, and then we're gonna try and get some green and yellow beans. And the beans, well, there's not much we can say besides they look really, really good. We're just hoping that they aren't too wet. When you harvest beans and they're wet, they can develop something called rust, and rust makes them look very bad. They taste okay, but they don't look good. So we want to try and keep our beans looking as nice as possible. You'll notice as the beans are falling down in, Matthew and I are going through them. We're taking out all the plant debris to the best of our ability. Any beans that are bad, we're trying to take out, and beans that are overly dirty. Dad is doing a lot of the work for us. He's controlling a big fan in here. Now that fan throws out a lot of the plant debris, and it also takes out the smaller, unripe beans. Now when Dad is going through and the fingers are pulling all the beans off, we want those long, large beans, and the smaller unripe beans, we don't want them in the baskets. And the reason why we love this machine, we picked 7 bushels of beans in under 15 minutes. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Are we gonna go down to the other end and come back the road for the green beans? Yep. As you guys just saw, it took like no time at all to harvest the flat and the yellow beans. Just wait till you see how fast it harvests these green beans. And in 30 minutes, we got 18 bushels of beans. We got our yellow, our flat beans, and now our green beans. I told you the green beans were gonna come in fast, didn't I, guys? They came in like a rocket. I actually had to stop filming at one point because there was too many beans. It was a little intense. With our bean harvester, we usually move it from planting to planting. So this bean harvester is gonna stay over here till we finish off this crop, and then we'll move it on to the next one. We have someone coming today to look at our forklift. We don't really know what the problem with it is, we just know it's not running. So Daniel and Joel are working on pulling the forklift up from down around back. He should be here in about like 25, 30 minutes. Matthew is going to be taking a load of produce to that grocery store. They have a big order today, which is really, really good. That helps out a lot. So while the boys all take care of that stuff, Dad and I are gonna be pulling red beets. I brought baskets up. What are you doing bringing baskets up?
Let's fill them all. Let's fill them all.
Some really large red beets here, oh my. I'm going through trying to pull all these larger beets out. I mean, they look really, really nice, and I'm trying to put them all on their own pile to make it easier as we sort them. But you can see everything is just coming out of the ground so easily. I guess that's what happens when you have 4 inches of rain. At the time of recording this, we just got done dealing with Hurricane Henri. 4 inches of rain, it came in a matter of a day and a half. Fortunately, our ground was able to soak all of that up. It would have been very bad if we had a lot of flooding, but in this area we did okay, and we had no problems here on the farm. I just stopped pulling. The boys are still ripping the tops off. We got a nice area cleared out over here, but if you just stop and look, as we go down through here, there is a ton of red beets that still need to be harvested. And that's okay because we are actually going through them pretty quick. I'm not worried about getting any of these red beets harvested. I think we're gonna be able to sell them all. We've got all our red beets cleaned up. Now we're having hot dogs for lunch. Oh, exciting. We got all finished with lunch. The forklift guy is here working on the forklift, and it was something simple. He's getting it taken care of. We got to give it a little tune up, so he's going to be doing that. And for the past couple days, we've been getting ready to start our silage bag. We usually have the silage bag here for winter. So now we're getting our equipment ready for that. And that's pretty exciting for us because we are a month ahead of schedule. Normally, we're one of the last people to get the machine that fills up the bag the whole length over here. And that's pretty exciting for us. If we can get this done early, we don't have to worry about picking vegetables while trying to get this silage done. So for the past 2 days, we've been working on tuning up our unloading wagons. We've been working on our chopper. Now all we need is the bagger. And I'm not sure when the bagger is gonna get here. I think in the next couple days that'll be arriving. We find ourselves out in the field because we need a lot of plum tomatoes. The word has gotten out. Canning season is here. We've had a lot of customers coming. They've been getting round tomatoes. They've been getting plum tomatoes. And because of that, we have no more plum tomatoes back home. I think there's one more basket. So we're gonna pick some plum tomatoes to take back to the farm. That one split from too much rain. I guess that's what 4 inches of rain will do. Now our tomato crop looks really, really good. And this is our first planting. The 4 inches of rain actually caused a pretty big problem. A lot of the ripe tomatoes that we have, so as we go down through here, there's a lot of ripe ones. This is what happens when they get too much rain. You can see it split it right open. And this, we can't pick this or do anything with this because this will rot almost immediately. And I'm saying about 1 in 5, 2 in 5 tomatoes that we have here, they have that problem. And it's something that you just end up dealing with. We would have probably not needed 4 inches of rain, but there was nothing we could do about it. And that's what happens when you get too much rain. When it comes to irrigating our tomatoes, when we see about 35–40% of the plant starting to turn red or starting to change color, we stop watering our tomatoes. The reason why we do that is because we risk splitting them. Thing is, we can control it when it comes to irrigation, but when it comes to hurricanes out of the south, there's nothing we can do about that. We do our best not to waste any tomatoes on the farm, but like I said, you just can't store something like that. When it's a wet cut like that, it rots almost immediately. By tomorrow, this thing it'll be destroyed. So those we usually just throw back in the field. We use them for fertilizer. They work really, really good that way. We will come through and till it under when we plant our cover crop for the year, and then it'll be used as fertilizer. We'll be using it next year. That's a shame. Our family's been farming tomatoes for quite some time, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we'll do the plantings. So you guys know we have 3 sets of plantings, and since those plantings are a little later on, those tomatoes are all green. So they're not split as bad as this early variety. Something you really have to worry about when it comes to farming. You could lose an entire crop in an evening just with some rain. How you feeling about tomato harvest today?
It's a little upsetting, but so far so good. We got a lot of tomatoes, but I'd say we'd probably have another, I'm thinking we got about a 40% loss, 50% loss right now because of the rain.
And everything that we got looks really, really nice. We had to be a little more careful. It took a little bit longer than normal. We couldn't just grab huge clumps and put them in the baskets. You had to go through and be a little more selective. But what we did get looks really nice. I found my dad and he was working on orange cherry. So I'm gonna help him get some of these. These don't seem to be split too bad. There's a few, like this one, that's split. But they look really, really nice. These orange cherry have such a sweet flavor. Orange cherry are done. Now we need some red grape. Now we don't have our red grape trellised, but if you plant these at home, trellis them, it's way better than picking them up off the ground. We just pick them up off the ground because we only raise a few plants. If we were raising more than this, or if we were raising them at home, we'd probably have them trellised. Matthew also got some of these heirlooms picked, and they look really nice. We wanted some colored bell before we went home, so the boys got white bell, yellow, orange, and some nice purple bell.
If tomatoes are a fruit, does that make ketchup a smoothie? I think so.
It makes these tomatoes a lot easier to sell when they're all out so everybody can see them. So we're getting ready to close up the farm market. Besides picking, there hasn't been really too much going on this afternoon. That silage wagon over there needs a tire. So Dad went out and he was taking care of that. We went to the local tire places and nobody has a tire like that. And to order it, because it's special order, that tire is $250. So Dad said to him, "Fix the tire, please."
I wasn't paying $250 for a silage wagon tire.
A guy from West Virginia stopped and gave me a free hat today. Thank you. It smells good in here. It smells good in this house. Let me show you what Grammy has for dinner. We've got Grammy's world famous meatloaf. Don't ask for a recipe. She doesn't even know what she puts in it. And then we've also got cream corn. Remember that farm that we went and saw? They were planting the hemp. They also do cream corn. They do their own family recipe. They gave us some cream corn. So Grammy made that for dinner. That corn came from us. But they made the cream corn and then we cooked it, so it's kind of like our recipe. We won't tell them about it. Trying to put this baby down to sleep. All right, guys, we all sat down together. We're eating dinner. Well, they're eating dinner. I'm holding the baby. So this means this is where we're gonna end the video. We want to thank everyone for watching, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.